Hello, good morning and welcome. It is Saturday the 13th of May and we'll start off as ever Australian dollar. If you look on the graph here you can see that the commercials had a big dip. They are not as short as they were, and you've also had a smaller dip on the large speculators. And so now if we look at the MT4 chart, you can see I said last week that this looked like it was up for a bounce, and the net positions of the commercials are 38,000 long and 54,000 short. So generally it is a short position, but this week we've had the changes, which is 21,500 extra long contracts, and we've lost, this is a minus 3,076 short contracts. So we are thinking that this is going to bounce back up probably to the mid Bollinger, the 74-75 mark. So we've got the bounce on the 30.9 on the RSI heading upwards, and it's going through the resistance here, and also the stochastic is looking up. So we're looking for that to bounce over the next 5, maybe 10 trading days, and then we will be shorting it back down because we always try and short this pair. Next currency we've got up is the British pound. This again, it was long, it's dropped a lot this week, so it's less long. So we are expecting this to short a little. And if you go onto the chart, GBP USD, you can see the net positions. We're 175,000 long and 130,000 short. But because they're hedgers, they are always long the pound against the US dollar. But this week it's the changes that are important. We've got minus 140 on the long positions, but they've added 34,000 on the short, and that's making us think that we're going to see a little bit of a pullback on this pair, and we're going to drop, the RSI will drop, and the stochastic is looking down. So you've got both of those looking down. I'm not quite sure how far we're going to go. I would have thought down to the 1256. That looks like fairly hefty support. Might not quite make it, but we'll see how it goes. So the next currency we're looking at is the Canadian dollar. This has had a few weeks where it had quite an unusual look on the graph, and it's just gone off the chart this week. Here, I'm very suspicious of this, and we'll look at the CAD, USD CAD. Here we go. Now this is the changes that are important on this. The net position is 132,000 long and 32,000 short, and a hefty change of 38,000 positions added to the long. This is on the commercials. So we will be looking for this, this is the USD Canadian dollar, for a pullback, perhaps down to this 135 line. And if we get that, we could enter a long trade against it. Next one we've got is the euro. Well, we've entered, this is really bearish now, the euro, quite a different, quite a big jump there. So we'll go through and just have a look at the figures. Euro USD, net positions. Right, we're 133 long, 134,000 long, and 217 short. But the changes are important. The changes. we've added 4,000 on the long, but 38,000 on the short. So we are getting really where, because this pair are hedging, they are traditionally long the euro because they oppose the shorts by the speculators. So to have this crossing over and to have all those many added this week, this makes us very bearish of the euro. Next one, Japanese yen. Yeah, we've had more longs added this week on the Japanese yen. We'll go through to the chart and have a look at that. Not that chart. USD Japanese yen. Net positions. We've got 133, nearly 134,000 long and 76,000 short. And this week we have had 11,000 less on the short and 4,000 extra longs added. So the net position, which is shown on the graph, is the difference between these two. This is not actually a net position, it's the positions of the commercials. So we're looking for this to long the Japanese yen, so short the pair. So we've got the trend line was broken on the RSI, and we've also got the stochastic is facing down, and we've got quite a gap here between these two different moving averages here. So we'll see what happens with that, but we're expecting that to short. I have heard tales that people think it might go up to 118, but you know, I really can't see that. They're calling it a double head. Yeah. Next one, Swiss franc. You can't really tell a lot from the graph, but if you go through to the chart, and I think it might be this one. Nope, this one, yeah. USD CHF. This was 10 to 1 short, long. This was 10 to 1 long last week, but we've had some changes this week. So the short positions have had 1,800 added to them, and the long positions 1,900. So now it's 6 to 1 long. And you can see this was on Tuesday. So if you go back 3 days, you can see what happened here, and it has actually shorted. So the Swiss franc has longed, and it has shorted the pair. So that's what's happened with that. Mexican peso. This is absolutely, look at that. What a change. And we can have a look at the figures. USD Mexican peso. So we've got 79,000 more or less long and 154,000 short. But it's the changes that are the thing here. We've got 55,000, nearly 56,000 added on Tuesday. So if you go back, that would be 1, 2, 3 days. So there you've had extra shorts added. Yeah, I think I'm looking that this pair is going to come right for me. New Zealand dollar. New Zealand dollar, it's still at a long extreme with the large speculators opposing them. So we'll have a look at the figures. We will. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Well, they've changed quite a lot because we're now 2 to 1 long, where we were about 4 to 1 long last week. So it's not as long as it was, and there's quite a difference there in the percentages. So, well, we'll see what happens, but it is still long, and I have a trade on the euro US dollar, the euro New Zealand dollar even, and I'm looking for that to move next week. But the fact it's only 2 to 1 on the New Zealand dollar is a little bit concerning. But there again, that was 3 days ago. Let's have a look. What else have we got? Energies, crude oil. Well, this is looking less bearish than it was. So maybe this is where the Canadian dollar is going to get some of its strength from. Um, I haven't got the figures and I haven't put them on the graph, so we can't have a look at those. Metals, we're looking at silver. This is as long as it has ever been. So when I took my silver trade off last week and said I thought it looked like it was going to bounce, the commitment of traders are with us on that, and from here I think we're going to have a little bit of a bounce, so that might be another good selling opportunity. S&P 500. Yeah, we're still on the short side of the zero line here. I just don't know what to say about this. There's no real clear indication, but I'm expecting the S&P 500 to short. I had a little trade on it and I got knocked out. But let's look at the Dow Jones. Still, it's still short. If you take, yeah, still short on the Dow Jones, and the Russell 2000. That is actually long. We're up here. It's longer than it was. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, look, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully see you later tomorrow. I'm going to have a look at some pairs based on the information we've looked at today. I'll pull some pairs out and see if we can find anything that's worth a good trade. And thank you for all your likes and your subscriptions, much appreciated. And we'll speak tomorrow.